Welcome to week number 1 of the Study of Texture Afghan. Today, the study is Old Town Squares. What do we mean by that? Well, we're going to be starting off in the center of your Afghan and going in a square around. So it's kind of the Old Town Square. So we're going to continue to round and around the statue in the Old Town Center, but we have some speed bumps that we have to watch out for. In speed bumps, I mean rib stitching. So what we're going to do is get you started within this project today, and we're going to get you started and on your way. This is a good time to do multiple at the same time, so when you finish this and you feel like doing a second one, you can do that as well. Because we're doing everything in bite sizes, you can actually make many of these at the same time in order to progress right into the end. So without further ado, let's head on into the studio and let's get started. So let's begin week number 1, and we are going to do the study of the Old Town Square. So what we're going to be doing is this centerpiece right here, but I want to really point out to you the information that's over here. So all of the different stitches that are in this entire stitch along are shown here. So if you don't see it on this stitch along right here, then you know it's coming in the future. So you can refer back to this page if you ever have to question anything that you'll see in the future. The particular size of this Afghan is around 52 inches square, and the gauge is 11 double crochet and 6 rows in a 4 inches, and we're going to cover that on how to make a gauge in order to check it. I will suggest to you that the gauge is extremely important, that none of you should actually be skipping to do the gauge process because you're working in a square like this. Gauge matters. So if you're too tight, what's going to happen is that it could buckle, and if you're too loose, then it could be really quite sloppy and roughly. So you want to get that nice way of looking, and we're going to be able to show you how to do that as well in this tutorial today. So there's going to be all these different patterns coming out throughout the 8 weeks, but at the end of it we're going to combine them all together into one massive PDF. So I would create a little mini journal for yourself so that you can follow your progress and print these out week by week, or just use your mobile device and just follow along and being able to do this. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to show you some tips with the yarn, and then we're going to do a yarn gauge. On screen here are 2 Bernat POP balls, and when you fold them over, they look like this. So you'll notice that the centers are a different color. Well, when you buy them on the yarn shelf, that doesn't mean that they were from the original industrial spool that they came from. So you will notice that Bernat POP, like most other striping yarns, will never be started at the exact same spot as each other. This whole Afghan that we're going to be working on with the stitch along requires you to do some doctoring of colors. It doesn't mean you're going to waste any yarn, because you're not. But what you want to be doing is being strategic on when you jump from one ball to the other, so that you don't end up with a small little stripe that looks out of place within this Afghan. Let me explain. So each one of the balls are wound in a certain order. So if you look at it, you see this darker blue, and then a lighter, and then a lighter, and then really dark. And then you see that here there is the light, and then it goes really dark. So you can see that they're at a different pivotal point. So what you'll want to do is that if, let's say for example, we're switching from this ball here and we're finishing up this one and we need to jump to this one. What I would do if I were you and you were me, and what you want to do is that you want to just reach in and just peel back the colors. Now because it's a cake, it's so easy to do this. You just peel it and you just reach in and just pull what you think that other color would be completely out of. And you just pull right out. And you're going to put this item that you're pulling out aside for later. And once you pull it out, what you can just do is just peel back the color that matches the same color as the outside. So when you're jumping from this ball to this ball, you can start at the exact same spot of this colorway. Now what are you going to do with the remaining that you have here? When this color comes back into play, when you're working further on down the ball, then what you can just do is put it back into place. So you see that this light here matches this one. So when I get to the end of this ball, I'll start at the beginning of this section here and use that up. And then this new color that you see here will be the color that I'm going to aim for the next time that when I'm jumping from ball to ball. So there's a bit of doctoring involved. This is not a special technique. This is what people do to keep their blankets in a self-striping yarn looking consistent. So as we get ready, I want you to pull from the center of the ball outward, and this will be the starting of the color. So some people like going from out in, and I like to go from the inside out. And you're just gonna pull, and then you're gonna get yourself ready. So it'll be coming up from the top. If you're always consistent, then you can make sure that the colors stay in order to get your Afghan to look its very best. But first we have to check our gauge, because I know some of you are changing your yarn colors and changing your yarn balls itself, but we have to check our gauge because we're working with a lot of texture with this one. We need to make sure it's gonna work out. So let's do a gauge test next. So using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, your gauge may be different because you may have a different tension than I am, but because I am the designer, my tension is what you need to match the best in order to get this thing to sit flat. So what you want to just do is just create a slip knot first, and you're not going to waste this yarn. You're just going to do a test right after this, and what I want you to do is chain a total of 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. I want you now to come fourth chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Get the back hump only, and I want you to double crochet yourself all the way completely across that chain. So I'll see you at the end of that chain. So as you come to the end of your chain, I want you to just to get that last stitch in. I'm a kind of a relaxed crocheter. I'm not too tense and I'm not too loose, and that's what it will look like. So I want you to turn your work and I want you to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and starting in the very next stitch I want you to double crochet yourself across this entire row. So what I want you to do is that I want you to go back and forth so that you have a total of 6 rows, and I want you to then get your tape measure ready for me, and we'll do that. So I'll do that off camera. Do not fasten off. We're going to pull this out after you get your test done, see where you are, and then we'll carry on then into the first week of Clues. So here's my gauge swatch. I didn't fasten off so I can frog this and get started on week number 1. But I want to check my gauge to make sure that it's right. So what you have to just do now that you got your 6 rows in, what you want to do is you want to check the height. It should be 4 inches tall. Okay, do you see that? Mine exactly it is, and this is my own personal tension. So if you're 4.5 inches tall, then it means that you are a loose crocheter, so you need to decrease your hook. So 5.5 size I is too big for you, so try an H, a size 5 millimeter, in order to continue. If you are too small, like 3.5 instead of 4 or even less, then what you want to do is increase your hook. So a 5.5 size I is not big enough for you, then try a 6 millimeter size J. You also want to take a look at the amount of stitches in the cross direction. So you want to have 11 double crochets that go across. So let's count those, and that's within a 4-inch span. Okay, so let's count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So I have 4 inches with 11 stitches, and that means my gauge is right. So if you are too big, for example your stitches are too big, then 11 of these double crochets will be even wider than 4. So you want to decrease your hook, and then of course if you have 11 double crochets and it's like 3.5, then you need to increase your hook in order to make that work. So that's our gauge test. We have more tutorials available on our YouTube channel if you would like to learn more about gauge. So now that we know what our gauge is, once you're ready to go, we're gonna start then on clue number 1. So this is my own pattern written in Yarnspirations format. I did all the typing for this. I'm really quite excited, and the designers over at Yarnspirations and the graphics team put this into motion, and the Yarnspirations also provided a graph. So I didn't do that, so really thankful for them to doing that. Just a few notes in this pattern. Chain 2 at the beginning of a round does not count as a half double crochet. Chain 3 at the beginning of the round counts as a double crochet, and then working from the center of the ball like I kind of talked about already, and match the outside color to the previous ball to the next ball will achieve the best results in this particular blanket. So I've already explained how you can pull at the center in order to make that work. So in week number 1, we have lesson number 1, the study of Old Town Square. So I've actually kind of did this like summer school. So we're going to create our first square. This is not a granny square Afghan. This is the very start of the beginning of your square Afghan that you're going to make, and I just thought it would be kind of fun. It's the Old Town Square, so just pretend there's a clock in the middle, and we're going around and creating the roads around the Old Town Square as we go. We have some stitch work here that's going to be involving some rib stitching, and it's going to provide a really nice look. So you just got to pay attention to our stitches as we go, and we're going to get started right now. So get your 5.5 millimeter size I crochet hook, or whatever hook that you decided that is your best tension, and let's grab your yarn. In my case, Bernat POP, and if you're substituting, just grab your yarn and let's go. So let's begin our first round. So we're going to create a slip knot to begin, and I wanted a nice tight center. And this is my own design, so I'm really kind of personalizing this whole design because I did design it myself. So we're going to chain a total of 3. So 1, 2, and 3. and I want you then to insert your hook into the beginning chain and then yarning over, pulling it through to create the center tight ring of your blanket. Keep the straggler around the outside of that ring so that you can trap it into position. Let's begin round number 1. You're gonna chain 3, and remember what I already said, chain 3 counts as a double crochet in this pattern when you go to start a round. So you're going to then double crochet 2 more times into the center of that ring. We're gonna start establishing our square right away. Then chain 2 to turn the corner, and turn your project as you go, and go back into the center of the ring for 3 more double crochets. So I've got mine starting off with blue chambray. That's gonna be my color of choice for this whole particular sample. You'll notice that the sample I did is in lipstick on your collar. Chain 2 after getting that done, and then come back in again in the center and put in 3 more double crochets. Okay, so we got 3 sides done, you can see that, and I want you to chain 2 again and come back into the center of the ring, and you're going to double crochet 3 more times, and you're going to notice in my particular sample here, whenever we go to finish a round, most of the times it'll be a half double crochet to finish. So this is kind of a genie technique that I've kind of adopted over time, and so what you want to do is reach over to the top of the first chain 3, wrap the hook first, and you're just gonna go into the top of the chain 3, pull through and pull through all 3, and that's a half double crochet. So it's a half double crochet to join as you finish, and that's round number 1. Let's move on to round number 2. So we're moving along into round number 2. So now we're gonna start some fun stuff, and so you're going to notice that there's hooks on these, and these are, it's gonna be either a back post or a front post, and we're gonna be creating some textured. You're also going to notice that there's 2 lines through the middle of it. That means that it's a treble. When you see that, when it's more than just 1, usually 1 is the double crochet, and then there's 2, then it's a treble. So we're gonna be playing with that. Now because you're using trebles here, when you go to do the outside corners, you have to decrease your stitches. So we've gone back to a double crochet because we have to reduce the height. So we get longer stitches to reach out to do the posts, but then we have to shorten it back up for the corners, and if you don't do that, then it ends up buckling on you. So let's move along to round number 2. So let's move along to round number 2. We're going to chain 3. You remember that counts as a double crochet. I'm probably saying that through the whole tutorial because that's just a habit. And you're going to double crochet into that same chain 2 space. And now we're going to begin the fun work of doing front posts and back posts. But we're gonna start off with the front post first. So it's a front post treble, so wrap that hook first, and you see the post that's directly below, just come from the side of it and then out the other side. So not the tops, just on the sides, and you pull through and then pull through 2, 2 and 2. Now you're going to do a back post treble around the middle one. So wrap the hook twice and come from the back side out through the front and then back out to the back again. And that's a back post treble. Okay, and now the next one is a front post treble. So wrap the hook twice and then into the side of it and then back out the other side and finish it off as normal, as a normal treble. So you've got some texture work now going on. So we're now going to go into our first chain 2 space. So you're just gonna do 2 double crochets first, followed by chain 2 and 2 double crochets again, and that allowed you to turn the corner. So I'll show you one more side together and then I'll let you do the other 2 sides. It's part of a challenge for you. So wrap the hook twice and start off with a front post treble, and then the middle one, the next one, is a back post treble. So wrap twice, in from the back, out back towards the back, and finish it off. And the next one is a front post treble. And your corner will be like you did before. So there's gonna be 2 double crochet, chain 2 and 2 double crochet. So what I want you to do is do that same idea going all the way for the remaining of the 2 rounds, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm coming on the final side and I'm just knowing how to do what I'm doing because I'm just repeating exactly what I did for the other 3 sides. And you're going to then finish off this section right here with the front post treble. And then when we started we only did half of a corner, so we're gonna finish the other side of the corner, so that'll be 2 double crochet, and we're going to join it with the half double crochet like I showed you before. So wrap the hook in the top of the chain 3, reach over, pull through, and pull through all 3. So that was round number 2. Let's move on to round number 3. So round number 3 we're going to carry on exactly what you already know. The difference is that it's gonna be very consistent. So see how that's a front post treble? It's gonna stay a front post treble, and this one will stay a back post, and etc. But now you have 2 more that were added to each of the sides here. So we're going to start off with the front post treble, then back post. Keep this as a front, back, back, and front. So let's begin. You're gonna chain up 3, counts as a double crochet, double crochet 1 more time in there, and now we start with the first one, and it will be a front post treble, and then it will go to a back post treble in the next one. So we're now redefining those ones that were just kind of regular stitches before. We're just giving them some texture now. And so the other one is a front post treble. You can see that, and it will be a front post treble this time, and the next one's back. So we're just matching exactly what you see, but just adding the 2 ones in the front and on the end of the rows in order to make it look consistent. And finally the last one will be a front post treble, and then you're back into a corner. So the corners for this round will be the same of 2 double crochet, followed by chain 2 and 2 double crochet. So that's all you just need to know for each one of the sides. So we start off with the front, back, front, back, front, back, front, and then corner of 2, 2, and 2. So let's continue to do that. I'll see you at the end of round number 3. So I'm coming up to the end of round number 3. Now I want you to take a look at this. I want you to pay attention to where these posts are. This is actually take number 2. I accidentally skipped over one of the posts when I was coming around, and I noticed it on number 4 because I was missing a stitch. So you want to make sure that your ending of each section, just like you see, this is the last post, so it must be a front post treble in order to make it work. Okay, so if you're skipping anything, you'll notice it probably in the next round and after it. So to finish off the final corner, you're going to put in your 2 double crochet, and then just join it with the half double crochet to the top of the chain 3. So 2 rounds left, number 4 and 5. So 4, we're going to continue exactly what you already know. So we're kind of trying to keep it simple for you. So chain 3 counts as a double crochet, and then double crochet into the same chain, or into the same space. So we're going to keep exactly what you know. So you can see the front posts are here, and so we're gonna start off the first one with the front post treble, and that will keep everything in line for you. And so that means the next one must be a back post treble. And now you can see we're running into the trebles that are already there. So just keep them on the same side. So front post on the front and back posts on the back ones, and do that all the way across. And then once you get all the way to the corner, it's the same thing. 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Please do that all the way around for round number 4. I'm coming all the way back around to number 4, and then we're gonna be heading on to round number 5 as we continue along in our journey. So it'll be the last round for this particular clue. So the very last chain space, or the space there, is 2 double crochet, and we're going to join it with a half double crochet at the top of the chain 3. So let's continue then to round number 5. We're gonna keep it nice and consistent, but now we're gonna get rid of some texture, and we're now gonna flatten it off. I found with single crochets that's a great way for breaking up the stitch work. So now what we're going to do is that we're immediately going to just chain 1 and single crochet into the same space, and I want you to apply a single crochet into each one of the stitches going all the way around, except for the corners. I want you to put in a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So please do that, and I'll meet you at the end of this round, and we'll just make sure that you finish it off right, and do not fasten off. And I think I might be changing colors real soon too, so we'll find out what happens in just a moment. Before I get all the way back around, one of the biggest mistakes that you can do with this particular design or any design when you're starting to switch out your stitch work for trebles and halves and singles. So I've done a single crochet and I've done my chain 2, and now some people, like I'm a loose crocheter and you can see where I'm about to go, but sometimes it's not so obvious, so you got to just make sure that you just follow up the stitch work to make sure that you're going to get into the right spot. So we're going to do a single crochet into the same space, and sometimes that can bury in this first stitch, so you want to make sure that you're just being kind of nice and gentle with it so that you're accidentally not skipping over anything when it comes to that. If anything, your rounds will get thrown off for counts will be within the corner spaces if you accidentally start skipping over anything. So I'm making my way to the next one, and you can see that it's kind of flattened based on the other ones being textured. So we're gonna be starting something kind of different in the next week to come. So that's it for that side. So you just go right into a space, chain 2, and right into a space again, and you start immediately on the first one, and you keep on going around, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So now coming up to the very final edge, and the yarn just changed color on its own. I didn't plan that. This happened to be the whole section, which is awesome. You know, I love happy little accidents like this. But now we're coming to the conclusion of this row. So this side is now complete, so we're gonna just finish the final corner. You're going to single crochet, and what we're going to do then is just a half double crochet join to the first single crochet. And what you're going to do then is hold this for week number 2 for me. This is what it will look like, and when you look at the back you can still see that it has texture on the back as well as on the front. But that's it for now. Let's carry on into week number 2 next time. So that's it for now. Please get your homework done, and I'll see you next week when we start a new study. The study of fences make for great neighbors. We'll see you then, and what does that exactly mean? Well, I can't tell you now, but I'll see you in week number 2, and we'll get you started as we progress from this town center square out towards the neighborhood of your Afghan. It's the Study of Texture Afghan with our friends at yarnspirations.com, and I'm your host Mikey of the Crochet Crowd. We'll see you. So welcome to week number 2 of the Stitch Along. This is the Study of Texture, and we are going to create a new study this week in order to progress our Afghan out even further. So today's study is Picket Fences Make for Great Neighbors. So what we're going to be doing now is progressing beyond the town center and now making a picket fence that goes around the town center. What do I mean by that? Well, we're going to be strategizing the rib stitching to make it look like picket fences as we go all the way around in this particular study. Don't forget, let your Bernat yarn pop play itself out. Let the colors come out as is, because when it gets bigger and bigger, you'll see that everything will work out and everything will be A-okay. So without further ado, let's head on into the studio. Let's get you started on week number 2. So let's begin your journey. So this is lesson number 2, the study of picket fences make for great neighbors. So what's going to happen is that we're going to create a picket fence look. Now the color of Bernat POP will change at some point, and it may have already changed for you like it has with me. So it's going to create the effect of really doing some amazing texture work. We have a diagram on page number 2 which we'll evaluate in just a moment, but you can see that the instructions are pretty straightforward, and if you follow the diagram you'll be good to go. So let's take a look at page number 2 of lesson number 2. So in lesson number 2, for those carrying on, you'll see this grayed out area here. That is number 5. We've already done that. So we're going to carry on to number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And on the side here you'll notice that I've written that, and I'll be checking that off as I go. We're going to be starting off, and we need to create some layers first in order to layer over top. It's like mandala work, where you have to do some work that doesn't appear to be obvious, but then once you start layering over top of the effects, it really looks amazing. What I really want you to pay attention to as we build up, you'll notice that, see this one here? This here is a front post treble going into the single crochet, and it's going up in front of this other another one that is in there in round number 6. So you see it reaches over top, and what I want you to pay attention to the most is see where it's going. It's going in the first single crochet here, which was in a chain 2 space that we had on the corners. And so if we're looking for those things, look for things that are consistent. You'll notice here chain 3 and a double crochet standing by itself, and then you'll see that over there is a double crochet, and there's 2 of them standing by themselves. And if you look for the consistencies, it makes it a lot easier. So without further ado, let's continue on and let's get this done into round number 6. So let's begin into round number 6. We're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, and then in the same space right in there you're going to apply another double crochet. So the corners will be consistent with what you already know. It's going to be 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Carrying forward, every stitch then going across to the next corner is going to be 1 double crochet, and then when you hit the next corner, again 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Pretty simple round for number 6. Please do that and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So I'm getting all the way back to where it started, and don't forget I have to go and put 2 double crochets in the first space where it started, and then I'm just going to join with the top of the first chain 3 with a half double crochet join. So now we're going to begin round number 7. So round number 7 has a combination of front post trebles as well as single crochets. Let's begin round number 7. So let's get you started in round number 7. So round number 7 we're going to be playing on the top layer, plus we're going to be playing into the single crochet layer down here, so 2 rows below. We're going to begin this layer, and we're going to then just chain 1, and we're going to single crochet only 1 time in the corner. So that'll be consistent going all the way around, except for the corners will always be single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, but we'll finish this corner off when we get there. What I want you to do then is that the next 2 in a row I want you to place a single crochet. So 1 and 2, and now we're about to do a front post treble, and what we're going to do then is that we're going to reach down into the very first one right here. Okay, so you're going to do a front post treble, so wrap the hook and coming straight down in and just come on the side. It's a front post treble around the single crochet. Just come straight down, and that is included to be this stitch that's right in behind. So your next stitch is the next one, and that'll be a single crochet. So let's do the next one. So wrap it twice and then skip 1 single crochet down here and go to the next one over, and you're going to do that all the way across this row and all of this and all of the sides. So this one here is considered the stitch that I just did, so go to the next one for a single crochet. So wrap twice and then skipping 1 single crochet in the row down below, and then just go into the next stitch that's available to you. And you're going to do that until you get to the other side. So I'll meet you there in just a moment, and then I'll just make sure that you're finishing off this side properly, and then we'll carry on from that point. So as you get all the way to the next one here, the next last one of the front post treble, you see it's the last one before it turns the corner, and that'll be a front post treble there. I'm just keeping in the right counts, and so therefore we have 2 single crochets left on the actual stitch work, and then you hit a corner, and the corners will always be the same. It'll be single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then you carry on to the next side. So let's just review the next side again. So the first 2, because there's nothing underneath there to grab onto, that's why those are single crochets. That's why I designed it that way. And now the next one is a front post treble, and you're going to reach to the first single crochet that you see down there. That's how I designed this one. Isn't that cool? So then just like before, the next stitch that you see is this one that you just created, so you come to the next one, and then you just come back down, just jump over 1. I keep dropping my stitches. I was using Bernat. I was doing a stitch along for Joanne earlier this morning, so I'm not used to the smaller yarn. So therefore you just carry on in the same fashion, and then just finish off each of the sides just like how you see it, and then I'll see at the end of this rotation. We'll just recap then, and then we'll carry on into round number 8. So I'm coming up to the very final of my rotation, and I'm putting 2 single crochets in the final 2 stitches there, and then in the chain space or the half double crochet join. I'm putting one single crochet and then just joining it with the half double crochet join to the beginning single crochet. So therefore that's what it looks like now. You can see the texture is awesome. So let's move on to round number 8. It's a simple round in order to get this pattern to settle down so we can do more texture work in just a moment. Round number 8, we're going to introduce half double crochets. So we're going to chain up 2. Does not count as a stitch. It's a builder, so don't count that at all. You're going to half double crochet twice into the same space, and then each one of the stitches across are each going to get a half double crochet, and then in the next corner that you'll hit, it'll be 2 half double crochets, chain 2, 2 half double crochet. So a very simple round for number 8. Just apply your half double crochets and we'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm just finishing up round number 8. It's a half double crochet in each all the way around except for the corners. There's 2 halves, 2 chain, 2 halves. So the final space that we have is gonna apply 2 half double crochets, and you're going to attach it with the half double crochet join to the top of the first half double crochet. Remember that there's chain 2. Skip right over that. Just go in the top of the first half double crochet and then just do a join with that. And we're gonna move on to number 9, and we're gonna be creating some more effects like we did way back in week number 1. Let's continue to week number 9. So let's get started on round number 9. We're going to chain 2, doesn't count as anything, and in the same space I want you to apply 2 more double crochets, half double crochets, I apologize, half doubles there. Now when you're looking below, you're going to see 2 half double crochets in this chain 2. Skip over that chain 2. It doesn't count as anything, so don't include that as anything. So you want to do a front post double crochet around the first one here, so don't include that chain 2. So just wrap the hook once and come in through the side and just half or double crochet just like that. The next one will be a back post double crochet, so come from behind and then out back. That's a double crochet in the back post. So the next one is a front post double crochet, and you're gonna keep alternating these all the way across the side here. And what I'll do is that I'll meet you at the other side right here. I'll meet you there. Make sure that you're finishing off the side right, and then you'll carry on doing the same instructions going all the way around. So it's just a front post double crochet or a back post double crochet, and they're alternating back and forth. So I'm continued then to the first corner that we're about to run into. The very last post that you have should be a front post double crochet, and you know what, that's nothing special. I've just been alternating it, but that's where you should end up with. Now to turn the next corner, you're going to apply 2 half double crochets first, then chain 2, and then 2 more half double crochets, and then you restart all over again. So this time, because it's not a starting section, it's not a starting round like here, you don't see a chain 2 that's in your way, so you immediately start on your very first one and just start with a front post double crochet, and then the next one is a back post double crochet, and you continue this to the next corner. Just finish it off the same way I just showed you here, and do this all the way around, and I'll see you at the beginning of this round. So I'm coming to the end of round number 9, and I'm just maintaining the pattern as I know it, and everything is working out. The thing is to watch for any inconsistencies that you think you're maybe seeing, and question it if you do see anything crazy. So the last one was a front post double crochet, which I know I'm right, and the last is 2 half double crochets in that space, and you join it then to the top of the first half double crochet that you have with the half double crochet join. Just like that. Let's move on to round number 10. Simple round. We're going to chain 1, and we're gonna apply 1 single crochet in the corner, and just make sure that you keep an eye. This is a chain 2, so don't do that one. That doesn't include anything. Go right to your first half double crochet that you have. That's where you're gonna add an extra stitch if you decide to use that chain 2. So it's 1 single crochet in each one of the stitches going across, and then in the corners it'll be 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet. Please do that all the way around for round number 10. Nice and simple, and I'm about to change colors too, which is awesome. As I hit my first corner, I just want to point out, remember the chain 2 that you had when you started this, it doesn't exist on any other corner, so you immediately go into the first half double crochet. Now what you can think is that, well, this looks like it is it. No, it's right here. It will look like it's buried underneath, so you just got to watch those. Half double crochets have a tendency to hide themselves very well, especially on a corner, so making sure that you are looking for each of those. So there should be, you see 2 here, so there should have been 2 on top of it, and just to make sure that it's there. Okay, so making sure you capture it. So I'll see you at the end of this round. Seriously this time. So I'm just finishing up round number 10 here. We're gonna go into 11 next. 11 is still a single crochet, but it's gonna be slightly different on the corners, and I did that on purpose to make sure this thing still lays down. Coming into the last half double crochet here, or on the outside here, we're gonna go right into a space. We're gonna do single crochet and then just join to the top of the first with the half double crochet joint to the top of the first single crochet. Let's go on to round number 11. So 11, the corners are going to be slightly different. You're gonna chain up 1 and you're going to apply 2 single crochets first, and then you're just doing 1 single crochet in each going across. So the corners this time around will be 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets. So that's the difference between number 10 and 11. So again, the corners are 2 single crochet, chain 2, 2 single crochet. Please apply that now, and I'll see you at the end of this revolution. Okay, we're coming around to the end of round number 11. I'm gonna head to number 12. Remember that the final space that you have to apply 2 single crochets into that final space. So 1 and 2, and just join with the half double crochet join to the first single crochet. So round number 12 is our last round for clue number, let me just do this first, is our last clue for our week number 2 of this one. You can see the colors just changed on its own when it felt like it, and yours will look maybe completely different. Same stitch work, but will look awesome. So round number 12, we're going to provide some more texture, and we're gonna lift off this layer that we just did, the last number 11. How to do that? We're gonna chain up 2, doesn't count as anything, and in the same space I want you to apply 2 half double crochets. So the corners of this one will always be 2 half double crochet, chain 2, 2 half double crochet, nice and consistent. So what I want you to do is that we're going to apply a back post double crochet around each one of these stitches going all the way across. So let's start with our first one. So just wrap the hook coming from the back and out through the back. This is gonna be nice and tight, and this is the way it's supposed to look. So you're just gonna do a half double crochet, and you're gonna just stay on the back post for the entire duration of this round, except for the corners. You obviously have to apply your 2 half double crochets first. So just make your way around using the back post double crochets. If I was to give you a tip, when you do back post double crochet, make sure you get the entire stitch. It's possible to only grab a portion of it, and when you do that it becomes very obvious from a distance when you step back from it, and sometimes you're working so close that you don't even notice that you've done it. I've done that more times than I care to admit, but I'm doing a back post double crochet around each of those going all the way, and it will provide a nice lift that you see that's gonna go on in this. So please do that all the way around, and remember in the corners it's 2 half double crochet, chain 2, 2 half double crochets, and I'll see you at the end of this revolution, and that's it then for clue number 2, week number 2 of your summer stitch along. So I'm coming to the conclusion then of week number 2 of our summer stitch along. I'm still continuing on the back post for double crochets going across. Remember that the final corner we're gonna have 2 half double crochets, and then join it with the half double crochet join to the top of the first half double crochet. Say that 10 times fast. So what you're going to notice throughout the remaining of this Afghan, most of the parts we're going to be finishing off with the lift, just like you see here, and this gives it a visual separation between the layers that we're going to be doing. It also gave it a visual break so that you could do something completely new as I was designing this. So it's kind of a neat idea. So I'm coming to my very last stitch here along the edge, and then the very final here is that I'm going to apply 2 half double crochets, and then just join it to the top of the first half double crochet. Now remember there's a chain 2 there, so don't include that. Just go right to the half double crochet itself. So don't fasten off, and at this point let me zoom out, and your blanket square should still be looking pretty flat when you just kind of just push things down, and it's looking pretty amazing. So we have now week 1 and now week 2, and we're gonna continue then on to week number 3. So until next time, we'll see you then, and have a good one. So that's it for week number 2. This is the Study of Texture Afghan. We're going to be moving on to week number 3 next week as we begin. It's going to be the study of Cheap Night at the Movies. Yeah, you've been working for 2 weeks, you need a break, and so we're going to be discovering what the movies has to offer us, and we'll see you in week number 3. I'm Mikey on behalf of yarnspirations.com, as well as myself over here at the Crochet Crowd. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye. Welcome to week number 3 of the Stitch Along. This is the Study of Texture Afghan with our friends over at yarnspirations.com, and I'm your host Mikey from the Crochet Crowd. In week number 3, we're going to do the study of Cheap Night at the Movies. So come on in my vehicle, we'll go over to the movies together and we'll get started on this Afghan once again. This Afghan, we're going to be introducing popcorn stitches that go pop, 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 pop all around the Afghan. We're going to be having some fun with this. This one's not too complex, this particular one, so I'm giving you a bit of a break as we enjoy a movie together. So without further ado, let's head on into the studio and let's get you started on your cheap night at the movies for week number 3. Welcome to week number 3, the Study of Texture Afghan. This is a mystery, and this is lesson number 3 of the study of Cheap Night at the Movies. So there was some popcorn stitching here, and this was inspired by the Joanne Spring Stitch Along where there was a popcorn square, but I decided not to do too many popcorns because I didn't want to drive you crazy with that. So what we have here is that we've got 3 rounds to go. So if you're continuing along, this gray here is already been done, so just ignore that. So you have 13 all the way through 19 to do. So as we begin 13, 14, and 15, those are all just single crochet rounds, and your colors may change in your ball, which will lend itself very well in this. Then we're going to do a popcorn round, again another single crochet, we're going to do double crochet, and then we're back to the back post double crochet to finish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you started on 13, and I'm going to ask you to do 14 and 15 on your own because it's basically the same, exactly the same thing to do in the corners and to finish off each of the rounds. So it's actually pretty simple. So let's grab your crochet hook and let's continue the Study of Texture Afghan with me. So let's continue now on to round number 13, 14, and 15. So I want you to do all 3. I'm only going to show it one time though. You're going to chain up 1 and you're going to apply a single crochet in the corner. And then you're going to then move to the very next stitch. Remember that here you have the chain 2, which is a builder, so this doesn't count as anything, so don't make that mistake to include that as a stitch. That only appears the first time when you start a round. It's not on any other corner. So just making sure that you don't accidentally get that as a stitch. You're going to continue then and single crochet yourself all the way around, and then in the corners you will apply the same thing. It'll be 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet, and when you come back to the very start of this, so when you come back around, don't forget you have to do a single crochet and do a half double crochet join like you've already done in the weeks prior. So what I want you to do is this row, so row number 13, 14, and 15, and then join me back here. I'm gonna have a color change by the time I get back there, and we'll see you at that point. So get rounds number 13, 14, and 15 done, all single crochet. So now that your 3 rounds are complete with the single crochet, we're now going to go to round number 16. We're going to chain up 3 and put 1 double crochet into the same one that you see here. So there's 2 into the corner. So when you look at all the corners, it'll be 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and you can confirm that on this side if you wish. Now we're going to start our popcorns. The popcorns, I didn't want to do it too many times in this particular Afghan, so it didn't really slow you down too much. So what's going to happen is that after we get the first 2 in the corners done, there's going to be 1, 2, 3 double crochets, then a popcorn. 1, 2, 3 popcorn, 1, 2, 3 popcorn. You're going to do that all the way across, and then the final 3 in the actual stitch work will be a double crochet, and then in your corners will be 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and you restart that again. So 1, 2, 3 popcorn, 1, 2, 3 popcorn, all the way into the next corners. So let's begin round number 16. So let's begin round number 16. You're gonna say, well, that's out of place. And you know what, it's the luck of the draw when it comes to this self-striping yarn. One of them that I did as a sample, it actually has a huge section like this with an extra different color. So you know what, you give or take, and that's what's so fun about this particular blanket. So let's begin. We're going to chain up 3. So 1, 2, 3, that counts as a double crochet, and in the same space you're gonna double crochet again to the corner. So remember what I said. So in the next ones that we have going on, okay, we're going to continue on, and we're going to do 3 double crochets in a row. So 1, 2 and 3, and then the next one is a popcorn. To do the popcorn, all you have to do is wrap the hook going into the next stitch and double crochet 5 times into that same one. Now we did this in a Joann's spring stitch along once, and the whole square was like this, and I know a lot of people don't love doing all this extra work, so I only did it 1 round in this whole thing to make it easier. So you got 5 done, so you're just gonna go into the beginning one of the 5, the starting one, put this back onto the hook and pull it through, and that makes your popcorn. So in the very next stitch that's available to you, it's gonna be a double crochet plus 2 more. So there's gonna be 3 in a row that are just double crochets. I'll show you a popcorn once again. So there's 3 in a row, so the next one must be a popcorn, and you're gonna double crochet 5 times. And once you get your 5 done, you take it off, go to the beginning one of the 5, insert in, grab the loop, pull through, and then double crochet the next 3 in a row. So continue that all the way around, and then you're gonna end up with 3 double crochets at the very end of this. You're gonna do your corners, which will be 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then you start with 3 in a row that are just double crochet, and then a popcorn, 3 and then popcorn, and you're gonna do that all the way around for round number 16. So please do that now. Before I get all the way around, I want to show you something. Here's an idea that helps you a lot, and this is what I was doing during the design. You will find that there will be 11 popcorns between here and the final corner, so you only see 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But I'm not done my corner completely. So the next one here is a popcorn that I have. And so you should have a total of 11 of those. So if you don't have 11 of those, something is wrong. So what you can just do is that you can just always fake it or make it in order to get an extra stitch in there if you have to, in order to push things through. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. So after we get the last popcorn in, there's gonna be 3 in a row. So 1, 2 and 3, and then you will be back on your corner again. So the corner will be 1 and 2, and then chain 2, and then 1, 2. If, for example, you were only left with 2 stitches instead of 3 in order to get before the corner, just throw it in just right behind the popcorn in order to make that work if you can. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. That just is the reality. So as you start your next side, the first 3 in a row will be double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3, and then continue then with the popcorn idea, and then do the next 3 and then popcorn, etc. I will meet you seriously now at the end of this round. So as we finish up round number 16, I'm just double crocheting my final 3 in here, and then I'm gonna hit my corner, which I have to finish, and there's gonna be 2 double crochet in that corner, followed by a half double crochet join. So just go to the top of the first chain 3 and join it. So now we're going to move on to round number 17. Round number 17 is a single crochet round, which gets this to settle down. You can see that the yarn now, because we're getting bigger and bigger, the yarns will start changing color and really starting to really mix up beautifully. And I have not used up a full ball yet, so this is going a long way, which is great. So we're going to chain up 1, and we're going to single crochet in the same space, and you're going to single crochet in each one of the stitches that you have already. So starting on the top. And what you need to pay attention to the most is don't accidentally put extra stitches in when you have a popcorn. So just look at where the double crochets are, and you're just gonna put a double crochet over top of it. So here's the popcorn. So you look, see you have 3 there on this side, and you have a popcorn. So this here is the top of the popcorn, because the next one you see is part of the other double crochet. Okay, so just look for that as your telltale sign of what you need to do. So this is the top of the popcorn. So you could just start counting that. So you can popcorn, and then 1, 2 and 3, and then popcorn, and then 1, 2 and 3, and that'll help you keep count. When you get to the next corner, you're just going to put in 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then carry on single crocheting across and using those same ideas of 1, 2, 3 popcorn, etc. So please do that all the way around for round number 17. So I'm coming up to the end of round number 17. We got 2 more rounds to do in this week's of clues, and just coming single crochet in each, and in the final one we want to do a single crochet and then join it to the top of the first single crochet with a half double crochet join. So let's begin round number 18, a simple round. We're gonna go back to what we know. We know a double crochet, so we're going to just chain up 3, and we're gonna double crochet in the same space, and we're gonna double crochet in each of the stitches going all the way across. So the corners will be each 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. So you've already done this several times. We're gonna do it once again, and what this does is it puts the popcorn right directly in the middle, and because I was switching around with single crochets, it's creating the work to be really kind of fun with your colors. So it's really quite strategic. So let's continue now, and I'll see you at the end of this round, round number 18, and we have 1 more round to do after that. As I'm completing round number 18, I still have 1 more round to go, but I'm noticing off camera that my ball is going to be running out shortly. So for the best results of my Afghan, you want to make sure that the ball and the next ball you're gonna use is gonna be the same color that you're going to be finishing off this ball with. So sometimes you can just look at your balls and just be able to pick the color that is already ready to go in a next ball, and if you don't have that color ready to go, then you can just go back to week number 1 to see how I doctor it to find a ball that will do it. So you have to pull it at the center. The very last section here, just put in 2 double crochet and then just join it to the top for with the double or half double crochet join. The final round is really simple again. See the ridges that we created before? We're gonna create them 1 more time. We're gonna do that a few times within this project. So we're just gonna chain 2, doesn't count as anything, it's a builder, and put 2 half double crochets into the same space. And then this whole round, each one of these will be a back post double crochet. The corners will be 2 half double crochets, chain 2, 2 half double crochets. So I want you to just back post double crochet each of the stitches and going around, and then just carry on from that point, and I will see at the end of this round, and this will complete your study of The Cheap Night at the Movies. So now once you get this done, treat yourself to a movie, and we'll see you next week where we study the of ants marching 2 by 2. So let's get this done first, and then we'll just conclude off today's tutorial. So I'm coming up near to the end of round number 19. This is it for this week's clues, and you can see that it finishes off with the beautiful ridge like you had seen in the beginning over here. You can see that the popcorn is nicely lined in the center of that, and it's really quite awesome. So you're going to fasten this off then, and sorry, you're not going to fasten this off. I'm getting too excited with the colors here. You're just going to keep it on, and remember that you need to put in 2 half double crochets in the final space. What am I talking about? Finishing off. You'd think I was done the project. Well, I feel like I'm done for this week. So I'm just going into the back post of each of these double crochets right to the end. So the very final space, you're just gonna finish it off and put in 2 half double crochets. So 1 and 2, and join to the first half double crochet. Remember that you have a chain 2 builder. Don't worry about that, just ignore it, and then just join it with a half double crochet. And that completes off this week's clues. And you can see that the yarn is doing the work for you. You can see that when you get some really nice peekaboos that you see here, really quite awesome. So we'll see you next week. Get your homework done, and then we're gonna do the ants march. The ants are marching 2 by 2. Hurrah for next week's set of clues, and we'll see what's involved in that. We'll see you. So that's it for now. Get your popcorn all the way done, and we're going to then begin week number 4 next week with the study of ants marching 2 by 2. Well, I know we're going to go into a little bit of biology for week number 4 as we continue. So now that you've had a break, it's now time to get on to the serious stuff, and we're going to get started on week number 4. So I'll see you then. Have a good one, and it's Mikey on behalf of yarnspirations.com, as well as myself over here at the Crochet Crowd. Bye-bye. Welcome to week number 4 of the Stitch Along with my friends over at yarnspirations.com, as well as ourselves here at the Crochet Crowd. We're going on to week number 4 with our summer Stitch Along, and this is the Study of Texture Afghan. This study this week is the ants are marching 2 by 2. So we're going to get into a bit of biology today, as we are going to then work in pairs as we work around our Afghan. What does that exactly mean? We are going to be just making sure that the rib stitching starts going in twos as we go all the way around, so keeping it 2 by 2. So the ants came marching 2 by 2. We're going to be getting this one done, and then we're going to move on then next week. So without further ado, let's grab our yarn and let's head back to the studio and let's get you started on week number 4. So let's pick up exactly where we left off. So we're now going to continue to round number 20. You've already done this type of round before. So I tried to make sure that when we were doing this, that every row wasn't something crazy, so that you could continue along easily. You're going to chain a total of 3, which counts as a double crochet, and then in the same space you're going to double crochet again. So you already know how to do this round. So each one of these stitches all the way around is going to be a double crochet. Don't forget here, remember that you did this one here. This is a chain 2, does not count as a stitch. So your first stitch is right here. Okay, so make sure you watch those every time that you're going in a new round when you have that. So there's just going to be 1 double crochet in each one of the stitches going around, and then in the corners it'll be 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So we've already covered that in previous weeks. So please do that now, and I'll see you at the end of this round, round number 20. So I'm coming all the way around on round number 20, and we're going to start our front posts and back posts in just a moment as we continue around. So when I was designing this, every time I went to go start something new, I tried to make it very consistent among the whole Afghan in order to make it easier for you to be able to follow. So a lot of it's been done for my convenience, but also for yours to be able to follow. So in the final space there, you're going to put in 2 double crochets and then just join with the half double crochet join to the top of the first chain 3. So let's begin. We're going to chain 2, does not count as anything, and in the same space you're going to apply 2 double crochet or 2 half double crochets. So we have a very consistent, easy to follow pattern going across. So the first 2 are going to be front post double crochet. So we've done that before earlier in the weeks of clues. So you're just going to wrap the hook coming from the side, come out to the other side and pull through, and double crochet as usual, wrap, and do the next one, front post double crochet. The next 2 in a row are going to be back post double crochet. So coming from the back, grab the posts, go stay to the back and double crochet, and do the next one like that as well. So there's going to be 2 in a row. The next 2 are front post double crochet. I'm going to speed up, and then the next 2 are back post double crochet, and I want you to repeat doing that all the way to the first corner. Let's just quickly review when we get to that corner, and then we'll turn, and then you'll do the rest of this round on your own. So I'm coming up to the end of the row. Now I have a problem here, and I want to keep this in the tutorial. So I could frog back and show that life is completely perfect, but it doesn't always end up being perfect. So I got 2 front post double crochet, and I have to do 2 back post double crochet and end with 2 front post double crochet, because the ending is always 2 front post double crochet. So I'm missing one of these. Don't think that nobody else would do this, not even a designer, but what you can just do, if I were you and you were me, and it's going to be hardly noticeable, but what you can just do is do the next 2 as a back post double crochet, and if you got the right counts you don't got to worry about any of this. But what I would do if I were you is that you need to have 2 front post double crochets when you finish. So I would put 2 front post double crochets around the same post. I know, completely cheating, and then start your row as normal, or start your corner. So it's 2 double crochet, sorry, it's 2 half double crochet 2 half double crochet, and then chain 2 half double crochets. So sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and where this can happen is that if you were like kind of not paying attention to that chain 2 that was in the very beginning, sometimes you can add or miss a stitch very easily. So when you can fake it or make it, see, it doesn't look absolutely perfect, but it will balance itself out next time you come around this round, and now that you've done it right like this, it'll be perfect next time you come around. To start the next side then, the first 2 are going to be front post double crochets, and then the next 2 are back post double crochets. So you're just going to continue what you know, and if you're missing a stitch you can just do that and what I just showed you, and if you got it perfect, then a gold star for you for your lesson today. So keep on going all the way around, and sometimes you just got to know when to improvise, because life is never perfect, and if you can fake it or make it, then you're halfway there when it comes to your crochet building skills. So I'll see you at the end of this round. So I want to show you another cheating technique that some people use, and you know, it's all about knowing how to improvise. So I know that I have 2 in the back posts, which is this one plus another one, then 2 front posts and then back posts, but I'm supposed to end up with 2 front posts in the end. So what you can do, and I'm just doing this for your demonstration purposes, is that I want to make sure that I keep the number of counts. So I have 17 of these front post groups going all the way across. So what you can just do is fake the back one. So you can do that one and then do another one in the back post double crochet, and then do the next 2 that in the front, and then the next one you can do 2 in the back post again. And what this is doing is it's putting you back in balance, and there's a lot of people that end up doing really massive mosaic kind of blankets or mandala kind of ideas, and they get their counts wrong and then they quit. So the idea is to know where to improvise so that you can continue on the same path, and then do the final 2 as a double crochet, as 2 front post double crochets, and then what you can just do then is just join to the top of the first half double crochet that you had started with. Sorry, you got to put in 2 half double crochets in the corner first, and then just join with a half double crochet in the corner. So it's all knowing where to go. So now that we put ourselves back on track, you can barely notice about this, and because this design has so much texture and the colors play with each other, you will pretty much not even realize it's even there. So this will put you back in balance just in case you're out of balance. For myself, I'm gonna go back, and this was just to show you how to improvise, and but this is one of the ways that I did it. One of the Afghans that I did in this particular design before, I've done that, and it was for myself, and really nobody notices anyway. So let's continue on to the next round. We have 2 more rounds to go. So I'm continuing on to the next round, and I want to chain 2, does not count as anything, and I want to put 2 half double crochets in the corner. So 1 and 2. So you see that these are front post double crochets. So these ones here must be starting off with the back post double crochet. Remember that the chaining 2 is not included in there, so make sure you don't use that one. So just start in the first half double crochet with the front post double crochet, or with the back post double crochet, and you're doing 2 in a row like that. And then the ones that are in the front post already, you're gonna keep those as a front post double crochet. So the ants are marching 2 by 2, and you're just keeping it the same. So the next ones, you see that they're in the back post, you're gonna keep those back posts. And because if you had to do any correcting to the pattern at this point, as far as like adding extra stitches if you had to, then this literally will make it all in sync with each other, because you really can't go wrong from this point. So sometimes there's ideas in a pattern where you can improvise and correct along the way instead of having to frog all the way to find where your error is. And you know, sometimes you can just totally get away with it, such as this particular design, and then you're good to go. So continue all the way around with just maintaining exactly what you already see. Remember, in the corners it'll be front post, sorry, it'll be 2 half double crochets, chain 2, 2 half double crochets. So when you go to your next corner, the ending ones here will be 2 back post double crochets in that one, and then this one starts off with 2 back post double crochets and then carries on. So you want to maintain the ribbing so that it looks like it's in sets of 2. So please do that all the way around. So to prove my point, as I'm coming around the round number 22, we're going to go to round 23 next, and that's the final for this week's clues, is that I'm still continuing on with my front post double crochets that I have. Now the next one is a correction. So you can see it looks like it right now, but when you can carry on to this round, because you did the correction already in the round below, it will make it look like it's perfect. See, it's pretty close. Nothing in life is ever perfect, so if you can accept those kind of things, that's awesome. So it's a neat way to be able to correct yourself without having a frog, and get yourself back in balance so that each one of the sides is right. And you know, life happens. Sometimes you just miscount along the way. As we carry on, the final ones, like it wasn't before, as the final 2 is a back post double crochet, and then it's going to be a half double crochet twice in the final, and you're going to join it with the half double crochet join to the top of the first half double crochet. There's a chain 2 there, so don't worry about that. So final round number 23, this is it. my friends, until next time, you're going to chain up 3, counts as a double crochet, and you'll double crochet again in that same one. So we're gonna bring this back in balance. Remember there's a chain 2 here, so don't worry about that as being a stitch because it's not, and you're just gonna start on your first half double crochets. You're gonna do 1 double crochet in each of the stitches going all the way around. Corners like before, how we started today's clue, will be just 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in the corner, and you're gonna do that all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of this round. And then next week we're gonna continue to week number 5. Week number 5 is your midterm exam pretty much, and it's gonna be the hardest one of all of them to do, and if you can get past that, then you're laughing all the way to the end of the project. And when I say hard, it just means you have to pay attention a little bit more. So until next time, we'll be back at the end of this round, and then we'll kick you off into next week, and we'll see you then. So I'm coming to the end of round number 23, and you're noticing that the colors are changing more often, so you don't have such large groups of the colors staying consistent like you did in the very beginning. So this is really gonna play for well for itself as we continue in my design as we carry on. So this is the final round for this week, and the last space, don't forget to put in 2 double crochets first, and then join to the top of chain 3 with the half double crochet join. And that's a technique I learned from Jeannie many moons ago. So this is how you're going to finish for now, and this is where you are, and we'll see you next week. Before I let you go to next week, I just want to let you know, see there's a correction right here that I did. The Afghan is still laying flat, so even though I've asked you to do a correction, it still should lay flat on you, and I don't want to mislead you that I may have frogged it in between the video takes in order to get it to lay flat. So this is something that you can do, and it does work well within this project. So we'll see you next week, for serious this time. So that's it for week number 4, and if your ants went marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah, yep, you're done. So get this done, and I'll see you on week number 5. Week number 5, we're gonna do the study of yarn colored eggs. I wonder what that means. I don't know. I'll have to look at my sheet. So I'll see you next week for week number 5 as we continue our stitch along for the summer. This is Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. See you again real soon. Bye-bye. Welcome to week number 5 of the summer stitch along with our friends over at yarnspirations.com, as well as myself, Mikey, here at the Crochet Crowd. This is the study of textured Afghan, and we are going to do a new study this week. It's the study of yarn colored eggs. So I guess Peter Rabbit left his eggs, and I kind of dipped them in a little bit of color. Don't worry, no yarn dyeing is involved with this particular one. This particular part of the design was probably one of the most complex ones that I did. I did a lot of frogging with this, and by the end of it, you're gonna have eggs that surround your Afghan. How is that done? This is probably one of the most complex areas of this Afghan. You'll just have to pay attention to the stitches, pay attention to the video, and by the end, you'll see that the eggs literally will be jumping off of your Afghan, and it will be totally amazing. So let's move on now to week number 5. Let's head on into the studio. Let's get you started. So let's continue on to week number 5. This one of all of the weeks is probably the hardest that you're going to have to do, and when I say hardest, it just means that you have to pay attention all the more. So we're going to go from rounds number 24 all the way to 31 as we do this. There's going to be a lot of texture here. This is part of the hardest design that I did in this entire one, and I really threw a lot of fun stuff at you. So let's go on to page number 2 and let's really blow your mind. So let's take a look at the chart here. The grayed area is something you've already done, number 23, and we're going to start off and we're going to do the back post double crochet to create another lip form that we have already done in the past. We're going to create some really fun stuff right here. We're going to do some single crochets, chain 3 single crochets in, and then we're going to do some shells in front of those, and then we're going to then add this more shells here, and then we're going to add front post double crochets, and then we're going to switch it up. This will create an Easter egg kind of look. This is just something I was just having a lot of fun with, and what we need to pay attention to this whole section to see how it gets bigger here. So we're kind of building it out from this moment on, but we're actually staying pretty consistently going all the way up. So without further ado, let's head on into this one, and let's get started on round number 24 and work our way around. Let's start on round number 24. You've already done this before in the previous weeks. You're going to chain 2, doesn't count as anything, and you're going to half double crochet twice into the same space, into the corner space. So each one of the stitches all the way around, like before, is going to be a back post double crochet. So just going in from the back and just back post double crochet, and you're going to do this on each of the stitches to the next corner, and the next corner will be 2 half double crochet, chain 2, 2 half double crochet. So please do this all the way around for round number 24. So let's begin a very easy and quick round, round number 25. We're going to create chain 3 spaces, and we need to create 20 chain 3 spaces, and it matters on the number. In actual fact, I am actually redoing a part of my tutorial here because I ended up with 21, and I want to make sure that you get 20 because it matters in the future. Not this week it won't matter, but it will matter in the future weeks. So now what we need to do is skip 3. So we're going to skip the first half double crochet, the 2 of those. Remember, this is a chain 2, so ignore that. And then you're gonna skip the next one, and you're going to single crochet in the next one after that. Then you're going to chain 3 again, and you're going to skip 3, so 1, 2 and 3, and go and do the 4th one with single crochet. And you're gonna do that all the way to the next corner. So what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna meet you at the next corner, make sure that you got it off right, but you need 20 of these spaces in order to make it work. So okay, so there's 1 and 2 so far. So what I would do is get all the way to the corner and then just backtrack just to count, and if you're off, then what happens is that you can actually fix this pattern. I built in so many opportunities for you to be able to get back on track if you've lost counts or something's gone wrong. So I just wanted to make sure that in the pattern that you had that opportunity instead of having a frog and being so frustrated, which makes this kind of an easy level project in order for you to follow. So let me meet you on the first corner and make sure that you got it off right. So I'm filming for you an opportunity to correct yourself. So here at this point there should be 20 of these chain 3 spaces going all the way to the back. Now if you're getting very close and say that you're off and that this should have actually been the 20th one, but you have to be over here, you can self-correct at this point. So I want to give you some options to be able to self-correct. So the goal is to make sure that you only have 20 of these if you do that. For myself, I have the right number, but I want to make sure that you have the right number too. So I want to just backtrack a little bit, and what I can do, instead of jumping 3 like I should have, I can jump 4 and then just keep it as a chain 3 on the top, and it will just kind of pull it in a little bit and then chain 3 again. Okay, and then I can just jump another 3 and then just chain 3 again and jump another 3. So you can correct somewhere down the road here instead of always having to correct in the end. And what I want to do is I want to count the number of spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And so I can just chain 3 and then just reach all the way to the end like that. And therefore it'll stay in balance. And so then you just single crochet, chain 2 and single crochet again, and then carry on. So chain 3, and then I'm skipping over the first 2, go to the third, go to the 4th, and carry on. So there's always opportunities to be able to fix yourself, and you really can't even see where you've gone different here, right? So that's the nice thing about this particular design. So what I want you to do is carry on, and if you have to self-correct, do it, and if you don't, that's great too. So either way, you're gonna have a great project in the end. So keep on going. So when you get all the way back around, just make sure that you do have a total of 20 of these chain 3 spaces on each side in order to make it work. So just join to the top of the first single crochet with a half double crochet join. Let's begin, and we are going to do some fun work with some shells, and let's begin round number what is that, round number 26. So we're gonna chain up a total of 1, and we are going to single crochet once in the chain space and once in the next single crochet. And here's the fun part. So what you want to do is that in the middle one of these, okay, now if you've had to improvise, then you'll just have to improvise that. So what you want to do is the middle one is apply 3 double crochets here. Notice that I pushed the chain back out of the way. These are gonna cause some peekaboo colors to happen right where it's got some single crochet. So I want you to single crochet in the same single crochet that you see right here. Now I want you to go again. So here's the next space here. Push the chain back out of the way, and in the middle one of the grouping of 3, I want you to put in 3 double crochets. This will have a really unique look in the rows in the rounds after. So once you get your 3, single crochet back on that round there. So in the middle one of the grouping of 3, okay, you're going to apply 3 double crochet and then single crochet in the other single crochet that you see. So do that all the way to the next corner. I'll meet you there. Because you have 20 of these chain 3s, everything will work out as far as that you need to do for the remaining of this clue. So this is you're kind of like self-correcting around if you had to do it. So let's continue along and I'll see you at that first corner to make sure that you're turning it just right. So when you come up all the way back around, you just have to single crochet in the final single crochet. Okay, and you should have a total of 20 of these because you self-corrected in the last round, and so you are just going to then put in a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So just keep an eye, make sure you have 20 of these groupings of 3 double crochets there. To start the next side, just single crochet in the first single crochet and immediately start into the middle one, again pushing that chain out of the way into the back, and you are going to put in your 3 double crochets and then single crochet in the next single crochet that you run into, and you're going to do that to the next side. Again, you will have 20 of these groupings of 3 going all the way across. Please do this all the way across and all the way around actually, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So now that I'm coming all the way back around, I'm just single crocheting and a single crochet, and then in the final chain space just single crochet and then join to the top of the first single crochet with a half double crochet join. So let's now move on. We're gonna do some fun work, and this part is gonna be really neat. You watch it just develop in front of your eyes. Let's start round number 27. We're going to chain 2, doesn't count as anything, and we're going to half double crochet into the same space twice. Now we're gonna half double crochet in the next 2 single crochets that you run into, and then we begin the fun stuff. So now what we need to do is look to the middle one of the grouping of 3 that you see, and you're gonna apply a back post double crochet there. Notice that I did not chain or anything after I did those half double crochets, so just go right and do a back post double crochet. And then what you need to do, this single crochet that is in between these groups of 3 is where we're gonna apply 4 front post trebles into the same post. So just wrap twice and go around the single crochet, and you're going to do 4 of these into the same spot. So this is what creates that unique look that you'll see in this part of the project, and really provides a key element feature when this is done. So now that you got your 4 in there, you're going to look to the next grouping of 3 and apply a back post double crochet to the middle one of the grouping of 3. Now your next one is 4 trebles again, front post trebles around the single crochet that is existing between the 2 groups. So wrap twice and do 4 of those. So you're gonna do this all the way to the other side. So what I'm gonna do is I'll leave that for you, and I would just meet you on the other side, meaning that I'll meet you at the end of this row before we do the turn, making sure that you're you're doing the right spot, and then we will continue then around, and I'll leave that for you to go the remaining of the round below. So next, now that you got your 4 in there, it's a back post treble crochet around the middle one of the grouping of 3. Please do that all the way across. I will see you at the first corner. So I'm about to hit the first corner, and I'm still doing the front post trebles. So this will be the last time I do the front post trebles before I turn, and it's in the single crochet that's resting in between the 2 groups of 3 double crochets that are already there in the row below. So I'm going to do a back post double crochet in the middle one of the grouping of 3, and then what we need to do in order to finish this here, the next 2 that you have, the next 2 single crochets should be a half double crochet, and then you're going to turn the corner, so it'll be 2 half double crochets, chain 2 and 2 half double crochets, and then you're going to restart the next side. So let's get you started on the next side. So the first 2 are going to be half double crochets each, and then you reach to the middle one of the grouping of 3, start with the back post double crochet. You already know how to do this now, and then you're going to do your front post trebles in the in the single crochet post there, and you'll do your 4 and you'll keep doing that then all the way across. So get your 4 in first, and then of course the middle one of the grouping of 3 is going to be a back post double crochet. So I want you to complete the remaining of this round, and I'll see you at the end of that, and you'll see the texture is really starting to jump off the screen now. So we'll see you real shortly and be right back. I'm just finishing up round number 27, and I'm just doing my last front post trebles that you see here. And as I come to the final conclusion here, I still have to get my back post double crochet into that one, and then we're going to finalize off these last 2 will be each a half double crochet, and then the final space here will be 2 half double crochets, and then join with the half double crochet to the top of the first half double crochet. Remember that there's chain 2, it doesn't count as anything. So now we're going to move on into this pattern, and we're going to continue now, and we're going to do front post treble crochets on top of all of these that you see. You're going to skip over the middle sections of these back post double crochets as you go. So let's just get you started. It's really quite simple. So we're just going to chain 3, counts as a double crochet, and then you're gonna double crochet again into the corner. So this chain 2 there, don't include that as part of the stitch, and the first 4 in a row are each going to be a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these front post trebles now are each going to be a front post treble on their own. So you wrap twice and you just do them individually. So what this is doing is it's getting it to settle out. So it kind of has a twist at the bottom, which gives it the Easter egg kind of look at the bottom. And then this will settle it out, and it will change the color of the egg too, because the color of the yarn has probably changed. So once you get those 4 done, you immediately jump over to the next 4. You skip that back post double crochets and just keep on going like that. So you're thinking, well, it's gonna look like it's all combining together. It won't, because in the next round what we're going to do is we're gonna do some crisscrossing, which is gonna keep these looking individual as you're looking at the Afghan. So what I'll do is I'll get this done across this section here, and I'll see you at the first corner. Make sure you're off to the right start, and we'll continue from that point. So I'm just hitting my first corner and I'm doing my last front post treble here, and then I'm going to skip this back post double, and then the last 4 in a row will each be 1 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now you're just going to turn your corner, and it will be the same each time. It'll be a double crochet, 2 of those, and then chain 2, and then 2 double crochet again. So we're going to start another side, and I'm going to leave the rest of this for you. So the first 4 in a row, so just let me look at it here. So the first 4 in a row will each be a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to skip over that back post double crochet and immediately start just doing your front post trebles again, going across, and it's 1 into each. Don't worry about those back post double crochets at all, and we're going to skip over those for the remaining of this round that you have. So you get that 4 in there, just skip the next back post double and just immediately just treble into the next front post treble that is existing. So please do that all the way around. I'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm completing round number 28 with my 4 double crochets just before the corner, and then in the corner space I'm going to finish off with 2 double crochets and then join together with the half double crochet join to the top of the first chain 3. So now we're going to begin, and we're now going to do a crossover. So the crossover is going to be in the top of each one of these groups of 4. So if you can look at these in groups of 4, you're better off. So let's begin round number 29. You're going to chain 2, counts as nothing, and we're going to half double crochet twice into that same corner space. So now what we're going to do is that we are going to half double crochet 6 times in a row. Okay, so let's just start on the first one. So we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and that will take you right to the one that's just before the first group of 4. So now you're going to do a crossover. So you're going to wrap, and it's just a double crochet front post, and it's a crossover, so just go into the third one over. So skip the first 2 front post trebles here, go to the third one and just front post double crochet that one, and then wrap the hook and double crochet front post the next one, and now come back and double crochet the first one that you had skipped with the front post double, and now go and do the one that is left. So front post double crochet. So that caused it to turn over. So you see it kind of twists in and then twists back out. So let's begin the next one. So you just immediately jump to the next one. So there's no spaces, nothing in between. Just wrap the hook, skip over the first 2, go to the third, and do your front post double crochet. Do the next one, and now come back and do the very first one that you skipped. Just use your fingers to manipulate it if you don't see it that well, and then do the last one, and then you jump again. I'll show it one more time. So just immediately skip the first 2, front post double crochet in the next one and the one after that. Do the first one that you skipped over, and then the next one. Okay, so these are causing it to, see how it kind of groups it back together. So now you're going to do that all the way to the next corner. I'll meet you at the next corner, make sure you're done doing that right, and then we'll continue from that point. So I'm coming near to the first corner, and I'm just finishing up the last crossover. And then what I'm gonna have is that you'll have 6 half double crochets left to do. So you just jump to the first stitch that's available to you and start half doubling. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now you're at the corner. So there's gonna be 2 halves in there, and then chain 2 and 2 halves. And you're going to start the next side. So let's get you started on the next side. So the first 6 in a row will each be a half double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and that will take you to the first grouping, and then you just wrap again and then just jump over to the third one, front post double crochet, jump to the next one, front post double crochet, then jump back to the first one that you skipped over, and then do the last one that you haven't touched yet, and then you keep on working it that way. So just wrap once, skip to the third, go to the next, and then go to the first one you skipped, and then go to the last one, and then keep on going. So continue that same motion all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm finishing up round number 29. There will be 6 half double crochets before you hit the final corner, and then we're going to move on to row number 30 and 31. So 30, 31 is actually something you already know, which you're going to love. Once you get to the corner, just don't forget to just join to the top of the first half double crochet that you started with. So round number 30, you're finally going to get a holiday. So you've done a lot of work already, so now it's time to kind of stabilize everything. So we're going to chain 3 counts as a double crochet and put another double crochet into that corner. So each one of the stitches, don't forget that's a chain 2, so you want to ignore that. So you want to go into your first one, and you're just going to do 1 double crochet around in each stitch. This will stabilize that egg shape, and then in the next corner you're going to place 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So you're going to do that all the way around for round number 30, and then we're going to finalize today's video off with round number 31 with doing how we started with creating the edge, just like you see. So we've done quite a bit of work in this week alone. So without further ado, let me just get you around to this corner and let's get you started on round number 31 next. So I'm just coming up all the way around on round number 30, just a regular double crochet round, and there's 2 double crochets in the final space that you have, and then you just join to the top of the first chain 3 with a half double crochet join. So now we're going to do our final round, and that concludes off lesson number 5. This is the hardest one I think of all of the lessons to do. So if you've gotten this far, you know, you need to pat yourself on the back. It was hard enough to design it, but it's hard enough to also to follow the instructions to get this as well. So you're going to chain a 2, and this round is all back post double crochet. So your chain 2 doesn't count as anything. You're going to half double crochet in the corner to start, and then each one of these then is just like what you already did in the very start of this lesson. Is this every post is going to get a back post double crochet, and this will give another ridge to give the Afghan another definition point. So you're going to do that all the way around. Remember, when you hit a corner, it'll be 2 half double crochet, chain 2, 2 half double crochet. And what I'm going to do for you is that you're going to do that. Just don't forget, when you come back around, you're going to put in 2 half double crochets and just do a half double crochet in the top, a half double crochet join in the top of the half double crochet here. So I'm going to leave you here and get that done, and I will see you next week as we continue our lessons along. It doesn't get any harder than this. This is the hardest point of this whole blanket, and then the rest of it we're going to carry on. So that's it for now, and we'll see you next week. So that's it for week number 5. I know this was a part of the design that was really kind of complex looking, but it looks so amazing when it's done. You really got to put in the time in order to really make this work. So you're going to join me next week as we begin a brand new study, and we're going to be doing a study of crisscross applesauce in week number 6. You have to join me next week. I'll fill you in on the details. So it's Mikey on behalf of yarnspirations.com, as well as myself here at the Crochet Crowd. Bye-bye. Welcome back to the Summer Stitch Along. This is the Study of Texture Afghan with my friends at yarnspirations.com, as well as myself here at the Crochet Crowd. Well, I've just caught you playing a board game. Yes, put those X's and O's away, because X does mark the spot, but we're not going to be doing the O's. So what we're going to be doing today is crisscross applesauce. We're going to do this crossing in order to really make it work. This part of the Afghan is actually a lot of, it's actually quite a significant area. I really wanted the crisscross to really pop out in this particular Afghan, so you're going to have to pay attention. But once you get started with this concept, pretty much the whole section of this is really quite easy to be able to follow. So without further ado, let's head on into week number 6. Let's go to the studio and let's do some crisscross applesauce. So this is lesson number 6, the study of crisscross applesauce. We're going to do lots of crisscrosses for several rounds as we continue then as we move. Now for those that are following the diagrams, we've already done round number 31, and now in this one we're going to go from 32 to 42. So we got all these many rounds to do. Now you're going to notice that there's a gapping space in the chart here because there's a repeat pattern several times. So what we have is that we're going to start off with just a single crochet round, which will repeat every other round up until we get to number 40, and then in the rounds in between them we're going to do the crisscross. So it's just a matter of a repeat. So on the side here I put on a round number 34 had an X, which was the crisscross, and the 34 single crochet, 35 is an X, 36 single crochet, 37 is an X, 38 is single crochet, 39 is an X, and then we can see 40 comes back into play with the single crochet. We're then going to just do a double crochet round and then back in the back post again as we come into 42. But this section here is going to take you some time, and I'm going to show you how to get started, and then I want you to do the repeat pattern and then meet me back up at the end of this video when you're ready to complete off these final 2 rounds. So without further ado, let's move along to round number 32. So let's move along to number 32. So last week we did the back post double crochet, but we have 2 half double crochets to start. Remember, the chain 2 never counts as anything, so we'd have to ignore that. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to do only 1 single crochet in the corner. So when we're on the single crochet rounds, it'll always just be 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet. But whenever we start a round, it's just 1 single crochet. Skipping over this chain 2 that we're supposed to ignore, we're just going to a single crochet in each of the stitches going all the way around. So you're just going to do that now, and then when you get to the first corner it'll be single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and you'll keep on going. So I want you to complete this whole round with just single crochet, and I will see you at the end of this round. This is number 32. So I'm doing single crochet to finish up this round. So when I was designing this Afghan, I wanted a large section that you could just sit back and relax and just do several rounds of it without having to think much. I also love when crisscrosses are put together with single crochet. I've done a vest like that way back in my past, and it's kind of where I got my idea to do it in this part of there. And I figured I had to do it in a square instead of just in rows. So that was kind of fun. So I'm coming back to where I had started, and I want to make sure I put one single crochet in the first space that we run into. Now we're going to be repeating these single crochet rounds in between all the crisscross stuff. So one into the last one, and then join to the first single crochet with a half double crochet join. So next row, row number 33, is going to be the same as 35, 37, and 39. There's going to be 4 rows of crisscross, and then in between those rows, including after the row, the final row, it's going to be 1 single crochet in each, and then you do your corners as what we just showed you. So let's begin to show you how to do a crisscross. Let me zoom in and let's begin. To do the crisscross, you're going to start off in each of the corners. The corners will always be the same: 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So in this case, because this is the first one, we're going to just start off with 3 chains just like that, and you're going to double crochet one more time. So you're doing half the corner. So those have to be done already, so you cannot do any crisscross with that immediately off the hop. So what you're going to do is skip the next one and go to the second one over, and you're going to crisscross, right? And then what you're going to do is just wrap the hook and come into the one you skipped and go backward. Okay, so you'll just collect it from the back side and you'll just double crochet, so it causes it to crisscross over top of each other. So let's do the next one. So you're gonna skip the next one, go to the second, you're gonna double crochet. Now you're gonna wrap the hook, just go and move the project forward and access the one you skipped and double crochet. And you're gonna do that all the way across. So skip the next one, double crochet in the second one over, and then come back and do the one you skipped. And you're gonna do that all the way to the other side. Okay, all the way to the where you get to the corner. So in the corner space you will put in 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then start all over again to do the crisscross, and you're gonna do this all the way around. So what I want you to do is do this round number 33 and then single crochet for 34, and then what I have for 35, 37, and 39 are all crisscross, and the ones in between, including the one after, is all gonna be single crochet. It's really quite easy to be able to follow. So I'm gonna leave all that with you now, and when I pick back up I'm gonna be on number 41, and we'll start number 41 together. So just look at the instructions if you're confused, and I also wrote those instructions as well. I'll bring that back just for a second. So off camera I've been doing extra homework and I've been getting these rounds done, and I've got 1 crisscross 2 and I'm on my 3rd. I just really want to show you, I was kind of feeling a little bit guilty about it, but I want to show you how to turn a corner just in case I know somebody's gonna email and said I wish you would have showed that. So all I'm doing is that I'm coming up to the end, and the crisscrosses will take you right to the very end. Now if this is your very first time doing your crisscross across, the first time you should have 51 of these crisscrosses that happen. If you don't get 51, squeeze one in if you got one missing, and if you got a 52 you got to somehow eliminate it out. 51 is the magic number because it matters in clue number 7 and week number 7. So make sure that you have your 51. So all you're just gonna do is go right to your final, which you do, and then you're just gonna put in your 2 double crochets in the corner, and then 2 double crochets back in, and then you restart again for doing your crisscrossing. So you don't crisscross any time on the corner like that. So you just skip the first one, second one over, and begin to crisscross again. So it's actually not a hard idea to do in order to work it out. So I know some of you might be thinking, well, it's cheating, you know, if I say, well, don't frog your work and try to make it work. You know, that's the whole point of crochet, is that your creativity it really comes into play if something's not working out in your favor. So it's a really great opportunity, and I hope that you can enjoy that. So please go around and I will see you. Make sure that you do 4 of these crisscrosses. So I've got 2.5 done so far, and I'm gonna have 4 of those done, plus I'm gonna do 1 round of single crochet, and then that's where I'll pick you back up at that point. So in the instructions I wrote it easy for myself. So number 33, where we are right now, is a cross, and then 34 single crochet. 35 is a cross, then 36 single crochet, 37 cross, 38 single crochet, 39 is a cross, and you can see 40 here. It's a single crochet, and when I come back we'll be at 41 to start, and then we'll get you off in 42 to finish off this one. So you got a bit of time ahead of you, some homework before you get on to next week, but you'll find that this will really punch an impact on your Afghan, and you'll love it at the same time. So let's continue along. You should have 4 crisscrosses, and then you will have the single crochets that separate them, and now we're ready for round number 41 and 42. So 41 is going back to what we already know from previous weeks. It's just a regular double crochet, so you're just gonna chain up 3, double crochet in the same one, and double crochet in each, and then in the corners 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Let's show you how to do that just in case you need to have a little reminder. So here's where we were at the start of this week's clue right here, and we've done single crochets and crisscrosses. You will see that there's 4 crisscrosses followed by a single crochet after it. So now we're just gonna return back to a double crochet, so chain up 3 and double crochet into the same one. And all you're just going to do then is work your way across and just double crochet in each of the stitches. In the corners you will apply 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and you'll go all the way around like that. When you get all the way back, then you'll just finish off with 2 double crochets in the spot, and then do a half double crochet join like you've learned in weeks in the past. So please do that, and I will see you in the next round, and we'll just do the final round together, which is a back post double crochet, which is what we've already done here in the past as well. So I'm coming up all the way around on the final double crochet round, and I'm just putting my 2 double crochets in the final space and then just joining it with a half double crochet join. So let's do our final round for this week's clues. So we're going to do back post double crochet like you had done before. It creates that ridge that we've seen before in the Afghan, and it then finalizes this section. Chain up 2 doesn't count as anything, don't forget that, and then you're going to do 2 half double crochets in the same join, or in the same space. So you're just gonna move around then. Each one of these are going to get a back post double crochet, and then when you hit the next corner it'll be 2 half double crochet, chain 2, 2 half double crochet, and then finally you're going to get all the way back around it. Don't forget that you got to finish off this section right here with 2 half double crochets with a half double crochet join. So I'm going to leave you here. That is this week's clues, and I will see you next week. Next week is a really big week. It is probably the most work that you'll have to do because it's the final, pretty much the kickoff, and then the final one, and week number 8 is actually really quite a simple thing to do, and then you get this stuff all done. So this is it for this week's clues. We'll see you next week. So that's it for week number 6, crisscross applesauce. Get that homework done, and we'll see you next week. We're gonna create a new study next week of the summary picnic baskets. Isn't this the strangest thing ever? Well, you have to join me next week. It's Mikey on behalf of yarnspirations.com, as well as ourselves here at the Crochet Crowd. We'll see you, and we're almost done, so stay tuned next week. So welcome to week number 7 of the Summer Stitch Along. This is the Study of Texture Afghan. I'm your host Mikey from yarnspirations.com, as well as the Crochet Crowd. Well, we've had a long summer and it's exam time in a couple weeks, so we need to get you started for that, but we need a small little break. We're going to do the study of summery picnic baskets in order to have some fun. We're going to be playing with basket weave for a duration of your Afghan now. This part of the project is probably the most labor intensive, but when it's done it looks absolutely amazing. So you're going to continue then and get this done, and we're going to head on into the studio now, and we're going to get you started on your picnic basket concept known as the basket weave. I'll see you in just a moment. So let's begin week number 7, the study of summery picnics. Now we're going to be doing a basket weave for this, and you can see this picture here. I'm going to bring up the final sample. Now of all the weeks, this is going to be the most labor intensive, but I will tell you week number 7, the final lesson that we have is only 1 round. So once we get this done, basically you're almost done your Afghan completely. So I know it's going to feel like a lot of work, and it is, but then we're almost done. So let's go on to page number 2, and I'm going to show you a sample of the basket weave as well, because once I explain this to you, you don't need to follow an entire tutorial like this. So let's just continue. So here's the stitching diagram, and I know what you're thinking. For those that don't read diagrams, it's like, oh my god, where do I start? And the reality is that if you take this piece by piece, it's really quite easy. So it's not showing all the rounds here, it's only showing rounds number 42 to 50 what we have here, but we're actually doing rounds number 43 to 54 because the last 4 rounds are identical to how we start here in 43, 44, 45, and 46. How do I know that? I can tell by the shapes here. So what I've done for you is that I've blown up another diagram to show you how to do the basket weave, and let me just take you to the sample first, and then I'll bring you back and show you something even more clear. So on screen is my prototype that I designed. This is the original one that I started with, and you're going to notice that it kind of flares out a little bit. It's okay because it's near the end, and you can see that there's an ending here that you'll come up with next week. So you're going to notice that there's a basket weave. This is 1, 2, and 3. So there's 3 times it switches. So when we go to do this, the basket weave is working in sets of 4 stitches. So you can see 4, 4, 4. These ones are the back post double crochets, and those are in the backs, and those are in sets of 4 as well. So everything's in sets of 4 except for the corners because we're continually getting bigger. So what we have to do is that we have to compensate for the stitches getting more and more on this side. So right from this point right onward to the other corner is all the same. It lines up, but as you're working on your corners, you're gonna notice that you're gaining more stitches, so you're gonna have to compensate for that. So when you look at the other side, it's the same thing that's happening over there. So you can see right into this point here, it's looking the same all the way to the other side, but then it's gaining as you go. So what we can do is that if we look at the diagram, we can do this really quite easily. And so if you know everything's in sets of 4, you have to just watch on how you're starting a round. There's total of 12 rounds. So there's 4 rows, 4 and 4, and they're in sets of 4, so it's just easy to remember. So for you, you don't need to follow every row with me because honestly you just have to match what's exactly there and just pay attention to how you're starting and stopping on the corners when gaining. So let me take you back to the diagram and let me show you more about that. So we're gonna start on week number 43. You're chaining 2 and you're putting 2 half double crochets in, and the first 3 here are front post double crochet, and you can tell that because if you look at the crochet diagram, you can see that the shapes are telling you what they mean. So you can see that there's 3 in a row, and this is because it's starting up and going off into a corner. You're gonna see that you're gaining, so I highlighted in yellow the front post double crochet. So then the next 4 are back post double crochet, and you continue in that same fashion. So the next 4 are front post double crochet, and then the next ones are back post double crochet. Eventually you'll hit all the way to the other side, and what I want to prove to you is that, let me just line it up. See how this started off with 3 front post double crochet? It ends with 3 front post double crochet as you get onto the other side, and then you just do your 2 half double crochets, 2 chain, and 2 half double crochets in the corner. So you can see that they're matching as they go into a corner. Do you see that? And then if you can see that, it just makes a lot of sense. So eventually after 4 rows, everything switches spots. That's how a basket weave happens. So in row number 47, we're then gonna switch and we're gonna do back post double crochet, and then we're gonna do front post double crochet. So these were technically in the back post, so now we're gonna switch the position to make it give its look. And then you keep on doing that. And again, you watch out for these edges. So you can see how they just gain out on a diagonal basis. So what you're missing is the last 4 rounds in the diagram, and the reason for it is that the last 4 that are existing in number 51, 52, 53, and 54 is the exact same stitch work as 43, 44, 45, and 46. The only difference is that you're starting way off over here, but it still works out to be the same. So you just want to pay attention to what equals the best. Now if you've lost your counts in any way, the goal is that this first time around that you start is that you should end up with 3 front post double crochets. If you don't, there's a way to fake it in order for you to get that. So if you ended up with an extra stitch, you could put 2 together front post double crochet to make it back to 3, and if there's not enough you can put 2 together into the same stitch to make 3. So it's just a matter of adjusting, because once you do it the first time and adjust, then the rest of the row should equal out for you. So what I want you to do is that we're gonna just get you started, and I want you to rely on this to get you started. So what I will probably do on the crochetcrowd.com, I'm gonna scan a copy of this, because if you can understand this, this means that you can do basket weaves in basically you can do basket weaves anytime that there is a blocking like this in order to make it work. So without further ado, let me get you back up, and we're gonna start round number 43. I'm just gonna get you started, and then I'm gonna have you do the rest of the rounds on yourself. This is a challenge. So for some of you, you're gonna say, well, I wish you would have filmed every row. The reality is that this takes several hours in order to do, and you're going to notice the colors are gonna start interplaying and mixing with each other, but as long as you understand on how it goes on the corners here, you will be successful each and every time. So this is part of your challenge with our summer stitch along, and this is almost the final of it, because next week we have one more row to add, one more round to add, and then you're completely done. So without further ado, let's start on round number 43. So let's begin round number 43. So in the last rounds that we have 2 half double crochets. Remember, the chain 2 doesn't count as anything, so ignore it. So chain 2, and then in the same corner space put in 2 half double crochets. So 1 and 2, and skip right over top of that chain 2. Just ignore it, it doesn't exist. And the first 3 stitches, which includes these 2 half double crochets, are going to be a front post treble or front post double. So wrap the hook going into the side and just make those into a front post double crochet, and only do 3 of them. Okay, so that gets you started there. You've got your 3. So now it's just a repeat pattern going all the way to the next corner. So the next 4 in a row are each gonna be a back post double crochet. So just wrap the hook coming from the back. You should know how to do this already, a back post double crochet, because you've been doing it several times in this particular Afghan. So 4 in a row are each going to be a back post double crochet. So what are the next 4? It's a front post double crochet. So you remember, the only reason why the first one is 3 is that we were compensating because the corners in order to get ourselves started. So 4 in a row. Okay, and then the next 4 are back post double crochets. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna take you, and I'm gonna fast forward now to the other corner, and I wanna make sure that you're keeping your balance, because you should have the right number of stitches, but if you don't, there's always a way to fake it or make it, right? So I'm gonna teach you that, and I know it's probably not proper, but you know what, why frog all this beautiful work that you've done, so you can actually start seeing that the basket weave is taking effect. So let's continue on to the next corner. So if your counts are not working out because you might have miscounted somewhere along the way, let me show you how to be able to manipulate your counts. So if, for example, you're running out of stitches, so I just put in 4 here. So let's just say I needed to eliminate a stitch. So how you could do that is that I would do it on the back post double crochet. So do the first one as a back post double crochet, and do the next 2, so just going in and grabbing 2 of them at the same time, and do a back post double crochet. So you just made those 2 into 1, and then just put the next 2 as back post double crochet. So it's really gonna be difficult to be able to see that there was a change here in the future. So then you can continue then just to go on. So if you're gonna manipulate anything, keep it on the back post in order to do it, so that you don't see any difference here in the front posts on the front side of the project. So that's just a way to be able to manipulate that in the very end. So what if you were short a stitch and you needed to have an extra? So I'm just in the back post double crochet. The next one I can put 2 back post double crochet into the same post, and then that makes that 2 into that 1 into 2, and then I continue along. So now I have my equal to 4 that you can see in the stitches, and then I carry on like that. So again, it'd be very difficult to be able to see this in the future, and therefore your counts will then be correct. So it's just an easy way to be able to manipulate the system if you have to. So as I'm coming to the very end, the last 3 will be a front post double crochet, and then you're back in the corner again. So the corners then will be 2 half double crochets, so 1 and 2, and then chain 2 and 2 half double crochet again, and then you just start off the same way that you did the last one. So the first 3 in a row are going to be a front post double crochet, and then the next 4 are back post double crochet, and you keep going all the way. So in the pattern what I've done is that when you look at these, the back post double crochets that you have, okay, you can see that here there's 17 groups of those. So if you want to double check to make sure that all your corners are all your sides are the same, that's what you need to check for. And you will notice that throughout the pattern is that I recorded the number of these so that you could keep an eye on those as you went around. So what I want you to do is that I want you to continue to go round and around and around all 12 rounds, making sure that you're switching. Let's bring back the diagram one last time, and then you're going to be on your own for the remaining of this one. So when you get back around, you're going to end up back around in your 2 half double crochets, and then you just join with the half double crochet join. You've already done that in this set of clues. You're going to move up, chain 2 and then 2 half double crochets, and then the first one is going to be a back post double crochet, and then the next 4 are front post double crochet, and then back, and then continue, and you will see that the side on the other side is completely equal. So because we are gaining by 2 stitches with these half double crochets, you'll notice that 2 just got added, and they were using this half double crochets then in round number 43. So every time you passing around, you end up gaining 2 stitches on the corners on here, 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 and here. So I'm gonna leave that for you. Get all 12 of these done. Remember, it switches every 4, and then it just switches locations, and then do another 4 after you see this, and the other 4 are showing exactly what to do, but right here. Okay, so without further ado, I'm gonna leave that for you, and then please get your clues done, and then next week is the final, just 1 round in order to complete your final exam, which is the border. Hey boo boo, nice picnic basket. I know I'm terrible when it comes to being able to imitate a voice. Now your picnic basket, you should get that done, and we're going to then continue next week as the final week for week number 8. It's the final exam of being able to bring all of your summer education together in order to really tie it up and graduate. So we'll see you next week, week number 8, as we continue the final study, which will be the exam to see what you've learned this summer. Welcome to week number 8, the final week of the summer stitch along with our friends over at yarnspirations.com, as well as myself here at the Crochet Crowd. Now we're going to progress and do your final exam, so I hope you've been studying, because we're going to tie this up into a pretty bow. Really, the final border of your Afghan is probably the most simplest of all, and you're going to enjoy that. So really the hard labor has been done behind you. Don't worry, it's an open textbook exam. So without further ado, let's head on into the studio. Let's do your final border. Let's get you started on doing this and wrap up your project today. So here we are on week number 8, your final exam today. So what we're going to do is that we've already done the gray area that you see. We're only got 1 round left. I know week 7 was a lot of work. I know that firsthand. So what I like to do with my Afghans is that I like to put a little bit of a special effect on the outside. This is one of my go-tos of doing these extended picot kind of ideas, and we're going to be doing this as we go all the way around, and once you've done that, you're completely done your particular Afghan. So without further ado, this is really super easy, and it really makes a really great finished look. So as we head on into week number 8, you're going to notice that it pins out like this a little bit. So if you're getting that, don't worry about that as part of the design. And what we have here is that you have your 3 layers of your blocks, right, that you see, and that you were growing out, and you did that in week number 7. So you can see that you really have put the time into this project. Now you would have noticed that this took a while to do. I'm not even going to deny that. I couldn't even stand going 1 more box in the design because I really wanted to kind of move on. So what happens with the back post and the front post double crochet, it squats everything, so you got a ton of work here, but it doesn't look like a lot of work. And so that's one of those things where a visual and your mind really can mess around with you. So let's start your final round, and let's do that together. So let's show you how to get started. It works over 2 stitches when you go to do this. So we're going to start off in the chain space, chain 1, to get us started in the round. So that's all you need to do for chaining 1 to start. You're just going to single crochet back into the chain space, and you're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Now there's 2 strands here. One is pointing straight up, the other one's leaning over. I want you to sink the hook in behind there, those 2 strands. It doesn't go all the way through the back. yarning over, pulling through and through, and there is your picot. And in the very next stitch, remember there's a chain 2 here, ignore that, just go to the top of the first half double crochet and then just single crochet. So this exists with single crochet, picot, single crochet in the next one. So let's advance to the next one. So you single crochet first and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then sink in behind the 2 strands. You get faster at this and pull through and through and then single crochet into the next one. So that's how it's going to look on the outside. So you just go into the next one, single crochet first, picot, sink in behind those strands, pull through, and then single crochet in the next. So don't get into the habit of just single crocheting and then picot and then go to the next one, single crochet and picot. You want to make sure that it's working up over 2 stitches. That's the biggest mistake I've seen on a crochet cruise. So you just single crochet the next one, picot, and then single crochet in the next one. Okay, so single crochet, picot, and then single crochet in the next one. So you end up with a really nice look on the outside of your blanket. And then that will conclude off your week number 8. This is your final exam of your whole lesson. Thank you so much for joining me this summer. Get this done and enjoy your Afghan at the end of this round. So when you get all the way back around, just join it to the first one and then just slip stitch it and then fasten off and weave in any ends that are left on your blanket, including this one, and you're good to go. So now you're completely done your Afghan. Isn't that pretty cool? Doesn't it look amazing? Are you proud of yourself? I'm giving you an A++++. I know. So you may reward yourself in any way that you choose in order that makes you happy. So I'm really proud of you for being able to follow through if you've done so. And you know what? This is an accomplishment. It took me a long time to design this Afghan, but I was really quite proud of it in the end. And when Daniel gives me the 2 thumbs up when it comes to the end of the projects that I design, it actually makes me feel really good too. So I hope that you feel like you've actually learned something new this summer and had a good time. So without further ado, I'm going to head on into the next video where we're going to do some giveaways. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So if you finished, congratulations. And if you'd like to try to win something, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.